Welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline. Thanks for watching the show on Verizon 32 everywhere. We appreciate it. And only in Bethel Park, I've been saying you got to move here. I don't hear about anybody moving to see Comcast 7. Hey, that screen looks a little off. How come I'm not centered there? This is like live TV, folks. This doesn't always happen, and our man, John the Tiger's trapped right now. He's like in a cage. We got the control room, Devin Chase, coming in. He just come flying in. How's that? How come I got to move over? I'm over too close. Thanks, folks. We appreciate you putting up with this. We've been doing this now for 3.5 years. It's like we got all rookies here tonight.
One of these days we'll get it right.
Well, I don't know. We got to watch because the sound, for all of you watching on TV, if you can't hear the sound, please call in and the sound's fluctuating. Call us at 412-831-3304. For everybody that's been complaining by watching it on TV with all our fans that are out there, I've heard a dozen complaints in the last 2 weeks. We're trying to work on that sound right now, so when you go to the gym and they have it on in Bethel Park, you'll be able to hear us talking. So thanks for bearing with us. I want to give a special shout out to a first-time viewer, a good friend of mine, Sana. She's going to be a guest. Wait till you meet her in June when she comes to our show, June 8th. She's listening for the first time. Hi, Sana, and she'll be here. And wait till you see what she does with athletes and helps them to perform better. So we'll have her on. Thanks for watching the show for the first time. I just had the best slice of pepperoni pizza from Olive Oil's Pizzeria. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Alexa. It was delicious. One of the best we've had, and I appreciate it. Thanks for being our sponsor. I got a couple promos here to do. I want to first show this. This is for a boxer. We're trying to get him to go to Ireland to get trained. A champion Olympic boxer from Ireland has volunteered to train him for 5 weeks in Ireland. Here's the event that's coming up. $20 for burritos at the Castle Shannon Volunteer Fire Department. This will be on May 6th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Do you get that, John? Can we get a close-up? How could that be as...
Well, we can't even see it.
Oh, you got it. Thank you. We were struggling in here. The control room just come out, told us about that. Our sponsor on What's on Your Mind on Monday nights, you guys know my sign. Just call 724-348-4715. That's Skeets. Talk to our man Skeets. Now we got the designer bag bingo. All these expensive purses and everything from Coach to Vera Bradley. You get that close up there. Contact EV Hardware. Contact Dave Cable. Come in and see him. Get your tickets. $25 tickets, 10 bingo games. There's extra cards you can get and everything else. Refreshments by Sid West. It'll be great. So check that out. Then EV Hardware donated this grill, $650 stainless steel Weber grill. $1 ticket. Whenever you see me, just ask for a $1 ticket. I have them on me at all times. So thanks to everybody last night for buying tickets. We sold about 20 more, so we appreciate that. It'll go towards a scholarship fund. I guess I can stop holding that. Thank you very much. That's it for the promos, except for one more. John told me he can do this. This is only a 3 by 2 inch. Can you pull that in? Because this is sort of special here with fighters. We got Rod Sulka there, Jason Bergman, the Carpensi brother. One of them's fighting. I got to see who else we have on there, but come on out. That's on May 16th, Mayhem at the Meadows. So Smokin' Jim and I will be announcing. It'll be on Fox 53, so stay tuned. It'll be on a day delay. So we will be there May 16th. And that's it for the promos now. I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine. We got Chip, the Prophet Hayner, Smokin' Jim Frazier, and Zach Brenner. This is live TV, folks, so thanks for putting up with us. We appreciate it. And we're going to start with our first segment, What's on Your Mind? Zach Brenner, There's Zach. What's on your mind?
Well, folks, I would like to let you know that on May 16th, I will also be at the Meadows. I may not be on the broadcast, but that's for reasons out of my control.
Look at how out of control he is because of that.
We will get that straightened out at a later time.
Yeah, we will. He's not on the show and not on the air.
May 16th, Lightning Rod Soca is the main event at the Meadows Casino, so you can bet your bottom dollar that I'll be at the Meadows on May 16th. But speaking of boxing, one of the biggest fights of the century, Mayweather and Pacquiao is finally getting closer here on May 2nd out in Nevada. I'm sure there'll be a segment on that later on in the show, so I won't spend too much time on that. What I really want to talk about on my mind tonight, folks, is I want to wrap up this awful Penn season that was mired with injuries and such. But some of the trades they made at the trade deadline were absolute were busts. Bringing in Lovejoy and shipping out Simon Duplay out to the Anaheim Ducks was a bust, was a terrible trade. And what also kind of baffles me right now is the general manager saying that Malkin played hurt with an injured ankle, but he wasted no time jumping on a plane and flying to play for Mother Russia in the World Championship, so he must not be too hurt, or they have his family hostage. But that's something
Rumor
else.
has it his family is in prison right now, so he had to go.
Well, Putin,
you would do the same.
I would. Sid's also playing for Canada, so he must not have been too hurt either. So instead of golfing, they're still playing hockey, but not for the Penguins because the Penguins didn't advance. Finally, the last thing that's on my mind tonight, folks, is I believe, and maybe Chip could shed some light on this when it's his turn, that Andrew McCutchen is hurt. His batting average right now, Smoking Jim Frazier, is 187, and that's way below the 200. What is that?
Mendoza line.
There you go. Lavina learned that last night, the Mendoza line.
The Mendoza line.
And that's what's on my mind, folks.
Thanks, Zach. And I hope you get your wish about the fights. And your fans do want to know what outfit you're going to wear, since you have so many sponsorship deals. Smoking Jim Frazier, what's on your mind?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
coming at you.
You got to see Levine. Hey, thanks. And I'm going to be very, very, very brief.
Why?
On what's on my mind.
Why?
You know what, Al Levine, the talking machine? There's a lot of bullies in the media, not just local, but also national. And the thing that makes me mad is Mike Golick. And me and Mike Golick has gone at it a few times locally. And Mike Golick is a good guy. Bob Golick was one of my favorite Golicks. But, this guy's blasting on the radio Ray Rice. I believe in second chances. What Ray Rice did was wrong, but everybody's picking on Ray Rice. Now they want to pick on Greg Hardy that's going to Dallas. And that's all well and good. But let's be consistent. Nobody in the national media, very few people, is picking on Floyd Money Mayweather. This is a guy who's been charged 7 separate physical assaults on 5 different women. This is a guy in 2011 could have been sentenced to 34 years in prison. They plea bargained it down to 90 days. He eventually did 60 days because he was complaining he didn't have enough protein. He was losing weight for his training. But nobody in the national media is jumping on him. The Las Vegas, Nevada Commission refuses to suspend this guy or even touch it. But all the national guys want to jump on Ray Rice. They want to jump on Greg Hardy, and that's all well and good. But how about jumping on Floyd Money Mayweather, the guy that really deserves it? And that's what's on my mind.
Thanks, Smoking Jim. I am so glad that you've come out against domestic violence.
Very well said.
Thank you.
It was great to have you come out against domestic violence. As you know, I'm a big opponent of domestic violence, all types of it. So thanks, Smoking Jim.
Both ways.
Both ways, yes.
Men, women, children, animals, and abuse on Pittsburgh Sportsline. I'm against it all. And we'll continue. Chip, Prophet Hainer, what's on your mind?
Well, thank you, Alan. And what's on my mind is something that's been tearing up the airwaves the last 2 days, nationally as well as locally on most of the local talk shows. Pirates got a little gift this weekend, a little gift from the baseball gods. Adam Wainwright, who happens to be the perennial Cy Young candidate, ace of the St. Louis Cardinals pitching staff, ruptured his Achilles tendon Saturday night in a baseball game. And he did this while he was at bat. He swung at a pitch and somehow moved the wrong way, ruptured his Achilles tendon. So now the outcry is, why are pitchers batting in baseball games? And the designated hitter rule should go into effect for both leagues. I couldn't be any more opposed to a rule change of any rule change ever in my life.
Know what that is.
And the reason being is that, you've got the National League, and the National League has no designated hitter. Back in the, I believe it was 1973 or 74, the American League went to the designated hitter, and I think that with the product that the National League puts on the field on a nightly basis is a far better product. The managing the game involves a lot more strategy. It opens up bench spots in the lineup for left-handed hitters, right-handed hitters, because there's no such thing as a pinch hitter in the American League because you've got 9 hitters. So, whoever you trot out there every night, there's no strategy involved. You don't, try to put up a right-handed bat against a left-handed pitcher or something like that. The way I look at it is I think the DH should be banned completely from baseball because I look at it this way. If you can't field a position on the diamond, you shouldn't be playing baseball. And there's some people that will argue, well, there are some aging baseball players that still have the opportunity to play, and all they can do is bat. Well, I don't believe that that's really just. I think that's robbing a young talent from a job that he could have, where we're watching, somebody that's a little over the hill, putting on weight, come in there swinging a bat, not doing anything else. To be able to earn a right at bat, I think you need to play the field. I, for one, am very much in favor of keeping things the way they are in the National League. Whatever Major League Baseball does, don't change this rule. That's what's on my mind.
Put them old geezers on first base.
Let them be out of the sport. If you can't play, you're done. That's all.
Hey,
or
man,
go to the American League.
Hey, you know what? With professional athletes across through every sport,
That's the solution
they
to
get old
everything.
and they're no longer
Put them on first base.
It's time to put them to pasture.
I happen to agree with you, Chip.
Too much money on them boys to be having them run.
Well, there'll be other ones that come up every
They're
year.
pitching.
There's other players that either stay the same or get better than the guys that were before them.
Play first base. You can play first base forever.
What's on your mind, Levine? The talking machine?
I still want to know why I brought it up last night that I got 2 co-hosts on the show, and now we played a bunch of games, and I don't really hear them talking about it because we started out 0-3 or something, but it just amazed me.
What, we lost last night?
That was 1/162nd
They're trying to
fraction.
creep back under 500.
Fraction. It's a fraction. We have this debate, folks. I'm veering off what's on my mind, but that's part of it because I hear crickets from these boys because they're big baseball fans. Huge. I mean, they both weigh over 280. So we'll leave it at that. What's on my mind is there's still a lot of great sports in Pittsburgh. You got the Pirates, the anticipation of the Steeler draft. It's always a highlight, so I can't wait till we get into that after I'm done talking what's on my mind, because I always like to know how they can get better than a D- in our esteemed co-host, Smoking Jim, because I don't always see it. So
Smoking Jim gave the 1974 draft a D-.
no, he wasn't born yet.
I'm waiting for that draft report. I keep waiting for that draft report. I love to read it.
And for all of you that don't watch the show, there's a little history here. We do have an NFL scout here. We wait in anticipation of his picks, and they never pick it, the ones he wants, and then there's stars elsewhere. So either he's quiet or they can't hear the sound like on BPTV throughout the area. So hopefully the control room is working that out. So we hope to hear from it. John the Tiger, any report after that last statement? Oh, good. They did on the TV, and they still couldn't hear some of us talking. John the Tiger had a solution. It's already been tried. But what's on my mind is let's enjoy the baseball season for what it is. It's a long time coming. And as far as all this stuff on the radio, I had to turn it off a couple times. One guy gets injured, we change running into the catcher, we change that. Now what are we going to do with pitchers? We already have specialization. You have a guy that's a closer. You have other guys that are in the middle innings. You have a guy that comes in the second inning when the pitcher got blown out with 10 runs. So you got specialization all over. You got inning eaters who hold teams to no runs, and then they don't even win a game. So we got so many things going on. This gives a lot for the Sandbox boys, Smoking Jim and Zach, to study now. That's what's on my mind. Go Buccos. Let's hear some nonfiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Hey, thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. And this is something I really wanted to bring up a few weeks ago. I'm a little late on it, but
the burrito dinner?
I was tied up in a meeting that particular week and missed the show, but
one question. Were you really tied up?
Yeah.
Because your fans want to know about this.
Yeah, I was tied up, gagged.
Okay.
But anywho,
tell us fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. Go ahead, buddy.
Back in 2003, I got to send up some props. Back then in 2003, it was my first year back with the Steelers after being fired for the 2 previous years and not allowed in the building. But on the Pittsburgh Steelers board that particular year was Larry Johnson from Penn State, Mike Doss, a strong safety from Ohio State, and Alonzo Jackson, who I opposed strongly from Florida State. That was going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers wish list in the first round. But they ended up trading up as Troy Polamalu continued to fall. They traded their 3rd round pick and their 1st round pick and moved up in the 1st round to get Troy Polamalu. In the 2nd round, they got Alonzo Jackson and had no 3rd round pick. And that was the first year that the NFL went to the first 3 rounds on one day, and then you come back for rounds 4 through 7. So the next day we come back, and Myron Cope was still alive at that particular time. And Myron Cope was doing his radio show in one room, and I come in with my steak dinner, and the Pittsburgh Steelers was in big need of a cornerback, and they had nobody on their board worthy. And I spoke up and I says, well, my number 1 rated cornerback is still available. And I said, he's 6'1", 190 pounds, 43-inch vertical jump, and ran a 4.26 40. They said, there's no such guy. He'd have been one of the top 10 picks. I said, his name is Ivan Taylor, and he plays for Louisiana Lafayette. So they called the coach, and the coach is, yeah, we got this guy. We don't want to know why nobody's coming to recruit him. So Pittsburgh Steelers took a chance, picked him in the 4th round. We turned the sound up on TV. There was no NFL Network then, but ESPN was on. Mel Kiper, and nobody knew who this guy was. And I went on a Myron Cope radio show after that because nobody had any information on him. So, hey, just a shout out to a guy who retired, a no-name guy, only played 2 years of college football because his first 2 years he was academically ineligible, but worked his tail off for 12 years and ended up being one of the highest paid defensive backs in Pittsburgh Steelers history. Good luck in your retirement, Ike Taylor. Hope you get into coaching, buddy. So that's fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Ike 2-4.
Thanks, Smoking Jim. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Chip the Prophet Hainer. Let's go to Chip's Trivia Time.
Chip's Trivia Time. All right. I got a little smorgasbord of trivia here for you folks this evening. Start off with somebody that holds the Major League Baseball record and has held this record since 1904. That is, can we do the math on that? Is 111 years, isn't it, Jim?
Is that Whitey Ford?
On 4/25 of 1904, New York pitcher Jack Chesbro recorded the first of his 41 victories that season. That is a record that still stands. 41 wins. Now, I was doing the math yesterday. You know, if the Pirates were to start the same 5 starting pitchers, okay, they would each get 32 starts this year. That's 41 wins. And then that's back when they played in a 154-game season, not in 162.
Wow, that's crazy.
They did have 4 pitchers in the rotation usually. So
Yeah.
that helps with
And
math.
but they didn't have any kind of thing like they would pitch double headers.
Right.
You know, they'd pitch
Really?
on no days
Yes, they
rest.
would.
Oh yeah, there was no
You gotta
such.
listen to Chip's Trivia Time a little bit more.
Okay, back on April the 25th, 1933, this has to do with the injury of a certain St. Louis Cardinals pitcher. Yankees pitcher Russ Van Adam made his debut. His major league debut, he won the game 16-0. Pretty good start for a pitcher. The part that interests me, he went 4 for 4 at bat that day.
Wow.
Not too bad for a pitcher.
In the American League, too.
That was back in the heydays of Lou Gehrig, and Babe Ruth was winding down his career at that time. 4/25/1995, Major League Baseball returned after a 257-day layoff. And this could also be known as the lead-in to what ended up becoming the steroid era, because the baseball fans were very upset with the baseball owners and with the baseball players. And people did not flock to the gates to come back and welcome baseball with open arms. And that's one of the reasons why the owners kind of turned an eye against the steroids, because you start hitting the ball out of the ballpark, people start coming in to watch it. So that's where that all began. April the 27th of 1956, Rocky Marciano retired.
Whoa. We
As
changed
the
right from
undefeated heavyweight champion at 49-0. Little boxing for you, because we got the Pacquiao. That's his name.
Yeah,
Okay.
money.
Yeah.
Lots of money, big money,
Yeah.
No money.
No
more
class.
money than any of us will ever see.
And still no class.
Hey, I'll take the
4/27/1968, Jimmy Ellis won the heavyweight title with a 15-round decision over Jerry Quarry. Wow. Why was Jimmy Ellis fighting for the heavyweight title? Because a certain young man named Muhammad Ali had to vacate his title because he refused to enter
Fight
the
the
draft.
Viet Cong.
He refused to enter the draft, so the title was vacated. There was an 8-bout elimination tournament, and Jimmy Ellis and Jerry Quarry fought the final match. That was the day Jimmy Ellis became the heavyweight champion of the world. 2 more little pieces here. One Jim is going to absolutely love, but the first one was on April the 27th, 1983. Walter Johnson, who had a strikeout record of 3,508, was the leader in Major League Baseball. His record was bested by Nolan Ryan. Walter Johnson, whose nickname was the Big Train,
Big Train, yeah.
he held that record for 56 years. Nolan Ryan destroyed that record, added another 2,000 strikeouts onto it. And finally, April the 27th, 1996. The 4th player to amass 300 home runs and 300 stolen bases. The first 3 players were Bobby Bonds, Willie Mays, and Andre Dawson. The 4th player, this is pre-steroid, Barry Bonds. And this is one of the things that has always disappointed me so much about Barry Bonds, is that he was one of the greatest baseball players we had ever seen. He did not need to resort to juicing to be the best player of his era. I don't understand why he had to cheat, but that's Chip's Trivia for this week.
Thanks, Chip. Appreciate it. Now, Z time. What do you have now, Z?
Well, Levine, the talking machine. I don't know where Smoking Jim said that I've been too bullyish of Ray Rice.
Ink is still.
The thing for Ray Rice is that in this day and age he was on videotape caught red-handed, so that's the thing that goes against him. And I mean, as for Floyd, people could talk all the smack they want on class or whatever, but you know, when I wake up in a Bugatti, like I'm fine with that. You know, you could have the class. I'll take the $100 million all day. At some point, I might be able to get some. You know, that's something you can always obtain in time as you grow as a human. But you know, that's just my opinion on it. You know, I take the money all day. But I'm very excited to announce that very locally at Century 3 Mall, the Fight Company is opening up. Rod Salka has decided to open a gym in Century 3 Mall on the upper level on the JCPenney side across from Champ Sports. It's going to be part CrossFit, part boxing. There's going to be 30 punching bags for people to tear into. There's going to be a boxing ring in the middle. So we've been working on that little by little as we get ready for May 16th down at the Meadows. I'm excited for Al Levine and Smoking Jim Frazier to call the fights on Fox 53.
I did not pay for him to say that.
No. That's just truly how I feel. Hopefully we get Rod another W and we move to 21-4. Currently 20-4 right now. Lightning Rod Solka, who hails out of Winola, Pennsylvania. That's over by Elizabeth Smoking Jim along the Monongahela River. If you're not up on your general studies of the land, of the geographical regions.
Isn't he the Benola Brawler?
Also, I'm a little bit stunned that Smoking Jim Frazier hasn't gotten a little bit more in depth with the Steelers draft, being as it may that this is one of the most crucial drafts of the Tomlin Colbert era that's coming up here in May. I look for the Steelers to hopefully, I pray that we draft a cornerback in the first or second round, because now with the subtraction of Ike Taylor and Troy Polamalu, you know, bring in somebody else with some hands, and we might have some interceptions. You know, I think Shazier had more interceptions than Ike Taylor and Troy Polamalu last season, and that's pretty bad when your linebacker has more INTs than the corners. So, and he was hurt all the time too. He's another one of them soft Ohio State guys, but that's for a discussion for another day also. Lastly, as far as the eliminating the designated hitter in baseball, I'm now more, you know, happy than ever to go with making the designated hitter across the board. There's no reason when you're investing that kind of money into the pitcher's arms to have them batting and running. You know, Wainwright's a devastating loss. I mean, it's good for the Pirates, but it's a devastating loss to the Cardinals. And as me and Al Levine were arguing about last night, Levine brought up how good of conditioning are you when you blow out your Achilles running to first base from home plate. But you know, freakish injuries happen all the time. But you know, in the era of Smoking Jim, when you're putting so much money into these guys' arms and you're having to constantly rebuild their arms and such, I just think there's no need to really risk having a pitcher worth $100 and some million running to first base on a bunt, on a squeeze. I don't know. That's just me, and that's all for Z time.
All right, Z, thank you very much. On location, we had one of our best shows ever at Duke's Rib House and Grill. We had quite the eclectic bunch of people from the Steel Hurtin' with the Roller City Derby girls. They come out. We haven't seen them in over a year or so. They were just awesome. They do have they said to announce that they're out there doing one of their bouts on May 9th. And we have MMA at South Point on May 9th, so there's a lot of things going on. Then another thing on May 9th, if you're able to go, you saw me promo that already, but I got to at least do that again, if you can grab that try to help this young man, Hugo. He's a very nice guy, and he's already a champion, a two-time champion, Smoking Jim, you were saying? Or so
National, yes.
Yeah, he's a quality fighter, and he's out of Pittsburgh, so it'd just be great to have him make the Olympics. So check that out at the Castle Shannon Volunteer Fire Department Hall.
He'll be easy to spot in Ireland.
Thanks, Smoking
If
Jim.
he gets to Ireland,
We try to get your expert opinion on all these things. I'm hoping we finally get some serious draft knowledge later on, because it's been avoiding it, and it's going to be starting Thursday night. So this is like the last minute for you to do it. But on location, I got a special announcement. We've announced many boxing matches at the Royal Place. I've eaten there over the years, been to many banquets and weddings. we're honored to be doing a Monday night show on May 4th. Come on out. It's easy to find. Smoking Jim found it again. Route 88 near 51. So come on out. We got great guests coming. We got MMA fighters, the Hawks coming. We got Kama, the Death Star coming out. We got a bunch of other people that'll be there. So check that out. And I want to thank one of our guests come out. He showed us, I'm not a big fan of the smartphone, but he invented something where you can put your smartphone in like a harness. You can put it and take selfies. Smoking Jim, you could learn how to take selfies and all of your sweeties at one time. You could do it. He even live streamed our show. He sent me the little clip. I'll post it up on Facebook of what he did last night. So we may have some live streaming of our shows going on in the future. So thanks to Dave Ross of Ready Action and his invention there. So stay tuned for more of that. That's our locations right now. As we always will be first and third of each month at Royal Place, and we'll be second and fourth week at Duke's Rib House and Grill. And thanks to all of you for coming out to see us too, especially last night. I appreciate it. Now we're going to move forward. We're going to I got to have some pattern here. We're going to the NFL draft. Yay! We got an NFL scout. So I'm hoping that I can at least get one or two nuggets that I could follow during the draft. Smoking Jim, lead it off here, brother.
All right, I'll be quick because I know.
No, what's this quick stuff?
I know a lot of people probably have some questions about the draft.
No, I want in depth.
But my philosophy is this: the Pittsburgh Steelers, unpopular. I put it in the newspaper for the last several years. I've always given their draft anywhere from a D+.
What newspaper is it? Could you tell me?
The New Pittsburgh Courier.
And you write for them, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thanks. Because people are confused as to what you actually do. We're trying to give you some credibility. He doesn't want help, and then people don't know, and he wonders why they don't know. I'm trying to help my man.
And I have no calluses on my hands. But when you continually have poor drafts, you can't fix a particular side of the ball in one given draft. The Steelers' offense is the best in football right now, so you got to concentrate on the defense. When you look at your, what I'm going to suggest to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Chip and I was talking about this before, and he's on the same page with me. When you are playing in the AFC North, you look at the quarterbacks, Flacco, Dalton, and who knows who's going to be the quarterback for Cleveland. But they're pretty much in the pocket quarterback. So if you can get you a rush guy, if you can get somebody in the draft that can get after the quarterbacks because you know where they're going to be in your division, you may be able to steal a win or two each and every year. Now that Cincinnati re-signed Marvin Lewis, that should vote good for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I would look at in the first round Bud Dupree or an outside linebacker, from Kentucky, big guy, 270 pounds that can run. And I know that little Z likes a cornerback. In the second round, you can get my number one rated cornerback. Nobody's talking about this guy but me. He's a freak in nature. Came pretty much out of nowhere. This is a guy named Byron James from UConn. He's 6'1", 200 pounds, and he's going to be a superstar in the league. He'll be there in the second round. And another need, if you look on offense, later in the draft, I think that you have to address a backup running back.
Correct.
A guy that may be there in the fourth or fifth round. Definitely might be David Johnson, 6'1", 224 pounds from Northern Iowa. I love this kid. But a kid I love more, and I think he's going to be great in the locker room, he'll probably be there in the fifth round, is Tyler Varga, and we talked about him before from Yale. This is the most in-shape guy. He could be a bodybuilder. This is a guy that gets up in the morning at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to get a meal in, to get his vitamins in, and then lay back down. Workout warrior. When you can get somebody like that in your locker room, when you can get a James Harrison, Greg Lloyd, or Rocky Bleier, they can set the example for everybody else to follow and see how hard work and dedication will pan out. So those are just a few picks. But my steal of the draft is going to be there probably in the fourth or fifth round. I got a guy that nobody knows about. course, he played at Georgia Tech. He's a freak of nature. He's going to be a tight end in the National Football League. And, at Georgia Tech, you got Munchak. And this is a guy I'm going to suggest for the Steelers. Steelers are looking to replace, sooner or later, Heath Miller. Mm-hmm. And now you got a guy that can stretch the field. He's a 6'6", 240-pound guy that runs a 4.40.
Wow.
Outstanding.
Wow.
With a little bit of coaching, he'll be a superstar. And I think he could be the next Graham, Jimmy Graham. And his name is Darren Waller from Georgia Tech. So that's just a few nuggets.
Well, we needed that. About time, Smoking Jim.
I have a tendency to agree with Jim because, when we were talking before the show, the thing that makes the 3-4 defense work is having an end rusher that is going to put pressure on the quarterback. And, the thing that made the Steelers' defense number one for all those years was certainly not our secondary. Troy Polamalu playing strong safety was, he was more like an extra linebacker than he was a cover guy. Mm-hmm. But the reason why they didn't have to worry about covering because the quarterback had 3 seconds to get rid of the ball or get flattened. And, right now we haven't sacked the quarterback well in the last 2 or 3 years, and our secondary has been exposed. So there's going to be plenty of talent. They said there's more cornerbacks available in this draft than any other draft because of the way that offenses are being geared in college football to spread offenses, that they have to have more cover guys. And we should be able to find quality people later rounds of the draft.
Well, Smoking Jim Frazier, if you also know about the 3-4 defense, it's also predicated on having somebody big on the nose sucking up two guys in the middle. Mm-hmm. And we haven't had that since Big Snack Casey Hampton departed us, and we've been looking for that ever since. And I don't know if that Tuitt is an answer. He seems more of like an end to me than somebody in the middle, and I'm not quite sure, Smoking Jim, what's available in the draft as far as nose tackle goes.
Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I agree with them here, they got a steal last year with the big kid from Tennessee. He's 360 pounds. He moves real well. And they also got the guy that replaced Casey Hampton that hasn't busted a great, but he's going to definitely make the team. So I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers will focus in on nose tackles in this particular draft. But I agree with you, Lil Z. But I think the kid will start this year for the Steelers, second-year guy from Tennessee.
I have a question. What time are you going to show up at the Steeler War Room?
Well, tomorrow's a mandatory mock draft, which I will traditionally miss again. I don't do mocks, but I'll be there early on Thursday to eat, and then
what is early?
Then they turn me loose on Friday and Saturday. The draft starts at 7 or 8 o'clock, so I'll be moseying in there and ordering my steak about 6.
And we picked 20 seconds, so it's going to be a long night. So don't try to eat that steak all at once, Smoking Jim. Try to savor it a little bit.
Well, it's like being on a cruise, brother. As long as the brothers is in the kitchen, I can eat all night long.
Wow. You live a charmed life.
What do you know about being on a cruise, Smoking Jim?
I used to go on a cruise every year. But I got to ask you guys a question. There's a lot of flags coming up. The Pittsburgh Steelers, just a little peek at their draft board. They definitely like 2 guys who have marijuana problems. They love
Gregory.
They love Randy Gregory from Nebraska, who I don't like him, and they like Sean Ray from Missouri, who just got pulled over yesterday for marijuana. Would you guys shy away from that, or would you, with the being at the pass of the Pittsburgh Steelers, or would you bring them in?
Well, the question about the second one that just got pulled over yesterday, you'd have to question the young man's judgment. I mean, you're getting this close to the NFL draft, and you're going to do something as foolish as that. Really, are you making good decisions? Whether they can play football, it's not like like real crimes.
Haven't we learned from Mike Adams?
I would say don't draft them.
Don't draft them.
Either one.
And the CBA
Well, there's another guy that's high on the Pittsburgh Steelers board. Now, you never know how it will shake down because I won't know till I text you, Al, when I see their official board after they go through their mandatory mock drafts tomorrow that I won't be a part of. But they love Marcus Peters from Washington who got kicked off the team last year.
What
He
happened to
may
the
be
character
available.
they look for in players?
With desperation, character goes right out.
Well,
of
you know, and we have some great experience with those character people, like a certain LeGarrette Blount. He got kicked off his college team, didn't he?
No, he got a
You
Super
know,
Bowl ring.
so you know, I mean,
He's got it
you
bad.
you have to question some of these, you know,
San
people with the
Antonio
own,
Holmes,
you
Super
know,
Bowl ring.
they've had some short-term success, but really they don't need malcontents in that locker room, and you know, really they don't need anybody that's going to encourage Levy and Bell to act foolish again. I mean, they've already lost them for 3 games for next year.
I got a question I'd like to pose to the panel. Of the 3 professional sports franchises in the city of Pittsburgh, the Penguins, Buccos, and Steelers, which one will be the
second round?
Yes.
I'm reading Little Z's mind. We're on the same.
What'd you even say? I don't even know what you're saying.
I have no idea what he said.
It was incoherent. at
Which
this end.
team of the 3 teams? Which team will advance past the first round in the playoffs?
Penguins. Penguins got the best chance of doing it.
Penguins,
Steelers-
Pirates, or Steelers? Which
Steelers
team
won't
will
the
make it
playoffs
past
next year.
the second round first?
Pirates are going to wild card. Is the wild card getting past the wild card round count for advancing?
That's a little
Well,
different.
I don't know. We'll see when the wild card team loses. It has to come and play Pittsburgh because we're going to be the division champs.
There you
I
go.
would say the Penguins. You say the Pirates?
I would say the Pirates.
I don't know. I didn't even think any of them would get past the first round.
How about you, Lil Z? What you said?
I'm going to go with the Steelers because of the other 2. I know the ferocity, and they're led by Big Ben. So anytime you're led by Big Ben, I always feel good going into any game.
Well, I have a problem. Big Ben can lead them anywhere he wants, but the problem is you can't hold that lead.
Right.
So
unless
I don't
he's-
see a change in the defense,
Good point.
and they're keeping the same old coaches basically. They only got rid of the best guy out of the bunch. So that's my
Well,
feeling.
you know,
I
I
don't
think
see
I
that.
think the
gotta
biggest
disagree.
question mark, obviously, going into the upcoming season, and we're not going to know the answers to these probably until sometime in late August or September. Is going to be what kind of a defense are we going to put on the field?
Read my article on next Monday.
You know, right?
It'll be the same.
Yes,
It'll be-
You've already written
They
your
don't
article. Wait a minute.
They don't want to be great.
let me
So
write
you've
that
already
down.
written your article criticizing the draft before the draft. I knew
Let me write that.
I was right.
See, you know what? I'm also getting concerned that Smoker Jim keeps naming 4 players coming up in the draft. Only the same 4 players, man. There's 200 kids in this draft class, and he keeps naming
I
the
just
same
want to
4.
read his report, his NFL report that's 300 pages.
While we're
I'm
on
ready.
the Pittsburgh sports things, I want to comment to one of Zach's comments in his opening bit. You know, we got the Pittsburgh Pirates who have been playing solid baseball. They've been getting amazing starting pitching this year. And they've been getting help at bat from a lot of different sources on the team, all the way up and down the lineup. And yes, Andrew McCutchen is batting 187, and you know, I think that is nothing to be concerned about. I don't think that he's injured. Andrew McCutchen has historically had slow Aprils, and I can promise you that come the end
When's
of the
April
season,
over?
He's got a
Well,
mushy
that would
knee.
Tell the guys when April's over.
April is over on Thursday. See, that would be the last day of April because that's April 30th,
All right. Yeah.
But anyhow, McCutchen, by the time the end of the season rolls around, he's going to be a 300 hitter again. He's done it year in and year out. You know,
How
I'm not,
many times has he done it with his haircut?
In the minor leagues all the time.
what does his
Not with
hair
a
have to
haircut.
do with anything?
Hair has a lot to do with your
yeah.
confidence. The way you look is the way you perform.
Yep.
He was known for that.
The hair up
That
there.
was it.
Not
I
in
think
the minor leagues all the
I've
time.
never seen him bat. I thought he was batting
You're not even
175.
making a good argument.
I'm just telling you, I've seen guys that changed their
Serrano,
hairs.
Serrano was very superstitious when it came to
And
batting.
You know that's
that
not
was
real.
a character in a movie.
You know that's not real.
Smoking Jim didn't
Serrano
know.
won chicken.
You watch. McCutchen's going to be
Sacrifice.
just fine. The Pirates are going to be just fine. Starling
Don't even
Marte-
listen to the Sandbox boys about baseball. Come
Starling
on.
Marte will be an all-star this year. He started catching
Whoa.
fire again. Gregory Polanco has started coming around. He's been hitting the ball real well. He's going to make some mistakes. He's a young kid playing the outfield.
And the Pirate pitchers, when they hold teams to less than 1 run on average, or 1 or 2 runs, they will win some games.
Here you look at the two pitchers that between the two of them combined have 1 win. A.J. Burnett has a 1.8 ERA, which is in the top 3 in the National League. And Francisco Liriano's ERA is like just slightly above 2.
He's not the number 1 pitcher.
Still.
If you knew what you were talking about, Jim, I could take you seriously. But, right now, the Pirates pitching staff
this is like the great non-debate. Because there's no facts. There is no facts whatsoever.
Great non-debate.
There isn't
But
a
don't you
debate.
think Cole should be the number 1 pitcher?
No, not at all. Just going into this season.
Just like with Alvarez, I thought he should have went to the minors. Then he wouldn't be batting 6th forever.
Chip didn't agree with you.
That's okay.
Going into the season, Liriano was your number 1. Okay, Cole was your number 2. Cole needs to prove he's a number 1.
How many wins he got?
3.
3.
And he's undefeated.
How many days did he spend on the injured list last year? 60?
A lot.
And are your rose-colored glasses broken or something? I don't know what you're looking at.
But
you're just throwing facts out from whatever you read or somebody told you. But it's still your opinion.
Well,
What happened?
Well, can we segue from
No.
baseball, Levine, to one of the biggest fights in the last 15 years, in my opinion?
Well, we got 12 minutes to go. We better at least give that 2 minutes because
Maybe
it's
the last
one of the
year.
richest
We give it
fights
more
in
than 2
history.
minutes?
Maybe the last
Maybe
40
5?
years, yeah.
Well, let's see how it goes.
Well, obviously, again, on May 2nd, it's Floyd Money Mayweather.
Where you watching it at?
I think Dave & Buster's. It's $20 at Dave & Buster's down at the waterfront, and I think that's the deal.
Dead in Homestead.
well, no, you will. You go to Homestead, that's it. You'll go out there if you come out at all.
No, it's safe in the waterfront there most of the time.
Levine knows anywhere with me, we're safe anyway, so
That's true.
that's neither here nor there.
And I
but-
won't be there with them on Mayweather's fight.
Yeah.
But thanks for the offer. He didn't even ask me.
Okay, Levine. No, I'm not.
That's why I said it.
No,
But-
Well, all right, what else?
Who do
Let
you
him
like?
finish this
Who do you
month.
like?
I'm going with Mayweather
Why?
because
Any
I believe boxing is fixed, and it always has been fixed.
Will there be a rematch, Al?
Yes,
Okay.
it's about the money. That's what I'm saying. That's my opinion. I'm not letting any facts get in there. Whether you got class, whether you're in shape, whether you're not.
Chip,
Boxing isn't a straight sport.
I am rooting for Manny Pacquiao to beat him up.
you're going with the Filipino over the American.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Smoking Jim Frazier.
I'm going with Pac-Man because Pac-Man does a couple of things. One, he's not as big as he used to be. But Pac-Man still got quick feet. He's a busy fighter. And Floyd's never really fought a guy that's as busy as Pac-Man. If Floyd doesn't stop him within the first 2 rounds, I think that Pac-Man built up enough points to win by landslide victory, which in boxing is a split decision.
Oh, for crying out loud!
Well,
Where are you watching it at to see all that?
Well,
That's what
I'll be with the Steelers, so they'll be finishing up the draft. So
You'll be a busy man.
yeah, it'll be busy.
come on down to the waterfront, Smoking Jim. I'll
be-
save you a seat. I'll guarantee you get 2 and from your truck.
When we're done with boxing, we all got our picks out there. We got 2 and 2. 2 Mayweathers, 2 Pacquiaos.
We'll see.
And
We'll see
one
next
Adam.
week.
I'll find out Sunday morning when I wake up what the deal is.
You want to have your radio on?
Oh.
Getting up.
He has a crystal radio.
No. Okay, let me just put it to you that way. I can't use the words I would like to use. I'm on the air.
Yeah, it's still a family show. There.
Yes, and I don't want to get taken off.
All right, I guess we got to talk some Pirates here.
No. How about some playoffs? We've got
No,
playoffs.
who even thinks about that in Pittsburgh?
Who thinks
That's
about the
how I threw
playoffs?
that out. Once our teams are done,
Once
there's
our
no
teams are-
playoffs, so we're not even in the NBA.
You know,
I'll let you kick that off.
Right now, the NHL playoffs are ramped up. All of the first round with the exception of one, all the first-round series are over with.
NBA?
The Rangers,
Hockey.
the Penguins fared better than I thought they were. I called for them to be swept in 4 games, and they stole a win in New York. The Rangers did them. Montreal defeated Ottawa 4-2. Tampa and Detroit are going to Game 7. That will happen tomorrow night. Washington defeated the Islanders last night in Game 7. So that sets up a second-round matchup of the New York Rangers and the Washington Capitals, and that would really be a series that would be worth watching. Even though
Smoking Jim.
even though the Penguins did play well, they just failed to score
The power
enough
outage
goals.
struck them.
Then in the Western Division, we've got Minnesota defeated St. Louis 4-2. Chicago defeated Nashville 4-2. Anaheim defeated Winnipeg 4-0, and then Winnipeg hasn't been in the playoffs since the 80s, I believe. And Calgary defeated Vancouver 4-2. Now, on a poll that I played at work, I picked as my Stanley Cup finalists. I picked the Montreal Canadiens playing the Chicago Blackhawks, with the Canadiens taking it all. So
You're
far,
a Terrian man.
that's still in effect. Now we go over to the NBA playoffs, and I know Pittsburgh is not much of an NBA town, but there's some good goings on there. Atlanta and Brooklyn. The Brooklyn Nets are tied at 2-2. Cleveland swept Boston right off the court,
But
4-0. But Kevin Love, their power forward that plays opposite LeBron James, had his arm yanked out of socket, and he will be missed out of the playoffs for the next 4 to 6 weeks. So that's going to have an effect on Cleveland. Chicago and Milwaukee. Chicago's up 3-2. Washington swept the Toronto Raptors. We go into the Western Division. Golden State swept New Orleans 4-0. That's my pick to win the title this year. Houston is leading Dallas 3-1. The Los Angeles Clippers and the defending champion San Antonio Spurs are tied at 2-2. And Memphis is leading Portland 3-1. So there's still some goings on in the NBA, but we'll see what happens here. Will LeBron get another ring, or will Cleveland do what they usually always do?
Since 1964.
Really?
it's the longest. It's one of the longest droughts. It's up there with the Cubs.
Yeah, they're better off just celebrating Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, what are you doing on that day?
You go,
Jim?
get a burrito on May 9th, and help
May
get
6th.
Hugo.
May 6th, get the
May
burritos
6th,
for
help
Hugo.
Hugo get to Ireland.
But, to get back to the Pirates, Alan, you
Yeah.
got the Pirates in the midst of a 3-game series in Chicago tonight.
Right.
And this is something that's really unusual, to play 3 night games in a row in Chicago, because Wrigley Field, up till probably
It's known
about
for day
15 or
games.
20
Never
years,
had lights.
they never had lights, and now they're playing 3 games there. Then we got Thursday off, and then we go to St. Louis for a nice 3-game series. It'll be nice to see how we match up. I think we match up very well with the
A
Cardinals.
lot
this
better
year.
now. There's an equalizer there with one guy
Well,
gone.
plus the guy they brought in to replace the young man that got killed over the winter, Tavares.
Yeah.
Hayward, he's out with a injured hamstring. So, hey, I'll take all the help we can get, man. If it gets us 2 out of 3 against them this weekend in
Smoking Jim
Busch
gave,
Stadium.
you didn't hear him real loud and proud, but he said 1-5 during this road trip.
Which ain't bad.
For
Oh,
what?
1-5.
1-5, and we already won
Crime.
3-0
No, you
in
lost. You
Arizona.
just lost last night.
Yeah, but we won the first 3
But
games of the road
but
trip.
you mentioned the Cubs and the Red Sox. So it's just
Right.
1-5.
Cubs and no, the
And
road
now-
trip. The road trip. They're 3-1.
Huh?
They're
I'm
on
so
a road
They
confused.
trip.
come home
now.
with the Cubs?
No,
No,
I mean,
no.
the Cardinals?
They
He missed the
played
road
Arizona.
trip.
Yeah, you
Chip.
missed the sweep this weekend.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is why I'm trying to tell
But
you.
what's
Never
wrong
let
with the
facts
Cubs?
get in
No,
the
we're
way.
talking
They
about
lost to
the
the
road
Cubs.
trip.
But you
They
mentioned
got
the
3
Cubs.
games with the
It's a
Cubs and 3 games coming up with the.
nine-game-
But you mentioned the Cubs.
How
and
could
you
they be
mentioned,
1-5 if they play 3?
But you
9
only
games?
mentioned the Cubs and the Cardinals, and
Because
I said
everybody knows that we
1-5.
swept the Diamondbacks.
That's,
Not
you're not
every
getting what
game. 9
Smoking
games.
Jim's saying. Smoking
Okay.
Jim is saying
What's he saying now?
that they did sweep in the previous series, but now they got 2 series coming up. They've already lost the game last night, and they're going to go
Hold
1-5 in the
Let
next
me,
6 games.
Let me translate
Thank
what
you,
Chip
Obi.
said. Chip said the road trip. No,
what
that
Jeff
means
said.
you're not home.
I'm
There's a technicality here.
Yeah,
The
that's
sandbox
a good
has got
point.
some sand in their
That's
ears.
good. You got to throw
Road trip.
throw a little
You gotta
Ebonics
throw,
in
you
for
gotta
me,
trip me
little
up, man. You gotta do
But I
better
want to
than
give
that.
Zach a special thanks for that explanation because now it makes sense why
See?
they're fouled up. Okay?
Maybe I'll get Zach to be my tutor.
No. If you get him to be your
I'm a better
tutor,
teacher. I'm a better teacher than Meter.
you will never be laughing anymore if you get a teacher.
And when we go 5-1, I'm not gonna shut up.
Oh, hey, I hope I see it.
And that's why you got to appreciate 4 different opinions, sometimes 4 different
Yeah.
facts on one series, or 2 now, since Zach did explain Smoking Jim's thinking only 2 series that are part of the road
Hence
trip.
the 1 and
Hey,
5.
you know what? I was thinking about
It's too
one of the
crazy
things that was
here.
in my trivia thing. When I was, and I saw the Barry Bonds thing. And if you think about this, Barry Bonds, Bobby Bonds, and Willie Mays. Willie Mays is Barry Bonds' godfather. So 3 of the 4 people of the first 4 people in Major League Baseball to hit 300 home runs and 300 stolen bases are all like
Is
family.
Bobby Bonds in the Hall of Fame?
No.
He'll probably never.
No, and Bobby Bonds, I don't think, because I don't think his career lasted long enough.
He was
But
good, though.
but yes, for a short period of time, he was an excellent ball player. And actually, he started his career playing for the Giants in the outfield, and I think actually he's the guy that took Willie Mays' place because the Giants released Willie Mays, and he ended up playing his last couple of seasons for the New York Mets.
Well, you're going to take a godfather's place, huh?
Well, I guess he wanted to finish his career back where it started, which was in New York, because when he came into baseball, he was a New York Giant, not a San Francisco Giant.
I don't know where he comes up with this stuff, but it doesn't even make sense. I don't know where you're going with that stuff.
Let's go, Floyd.
Oh, you know what? One other thing, we're getting ready to wrap up the
Yeah.
show here.
Yes, we are.
Hopefully.
Last weekend, we participated in a March for Babies, and the Angels team collected over $1,300 in
Good.
donations.
That is
We
great.
beat last year by 30%. So we upped the ante for ourselves for next year. But
Nice.
thanks for everybody for their participation, for their generous donations.
And congratulations to you guys in turning something that's terrible and horrific into something good to try to find a solution to all this.
So that's
great.
what you try to do, man. You try to make lemonade out of lemons,
Speaking also, let's give a shout out to everybody, man. Joey Fabus, give a reminder to donate to that cause, raising awareness for childhood cancer.
And I got the update on their dinner. They grossed $10,000, so that'll really help the
That's
Joey
huge.
Cancer Foundation there. So it's good stuff. We've got some T-shirts and all that stuff, and just got Matt Harkins just come by with Passion Report. They're 2-0. So that's it for that.
Such a fruitcake.
Well, we know we got boxing this weekend. Smoking Jim will be our man on the inside of the Steeler War Room. We really won't get much information from him.
We'll try to extract some.
This may be the first. I don't know if he can make it because they do need some help. At least get him to get one of your early picks.
I'd be stunned if the Steelers drafted anybody Smoking Jim has listed.
Well, we will find out. We're going to close this down. Thanks, Chip. I appreciate you. Smoking Jim Frazier. I don't know where you were at tonight, but I appreciate some of what you said. Zach Brenner, thanks for your insights. Sorry I screwed up that invite to the waterfront to watch it at Dave & Buster's, but that happens. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Be safe and stay Joey strong.